So, welcome to the Lift Your Life podcast. So, we have actually had a name change of the podcast, and Hannah is the first guest, I do believe, of this podcast, but she's actually a return to the podcast because the podcast is the same. We just had a bit of a rebrand because, we got to freshen things up. But people asked for Hannah back. Actually, a few people asked for Hannah back. My friend Abby did. Abby, you better be listening to this bitch. A few other people did as well. I think, believe it or not, Hannah, just to blow smoke up here. Yours is one of the most listened to ones that I've actually got because I like to look at the stats, and yours is up there.
Really?
So no pressure. This has got to go really, really well. We're not going to do the whole introducey shit. If you want to know who Hannah is, go check her out on Instagram and go listen to the first podcast, and then you can find out all about her, what she's about, and we just won't repeat ourselves. But what we will do is have a bit of a catch up, see where Hannah's at now, because the last time we recorded, you were in a mini cut.
Oh, was I?
You were.
So when was that? Do you know what months we were in?
No, I don't remember yesterday.
You know what? I remember doing it. Oh my God, I remember doing our last podcast.
You just moved house.
I just moved, mate. I was sitting on my blow-up mattress and I was nicking next door's Wi-Fi so that I could do the podcast.
The podcast crashed about 500 times trying to, yeah, it was so pretty funny. So obviously since then, fresh, both in fresh cribs right now.
Yeah. Oh, are you? Where have you gone?
I just moved into it's an old converted mill. It's pretty
wow.
It's pretty special. It's
pretty amazing. Have you bought or rented?
Oh, I've rented, mate. I wanted to buy.
Mate, that must be fucking a shit ton to rent.
Let's not talk about it. Let's just not talk about how much it's cost.
That's fair. Okay.
I wanted to buy. I was like, yes, I can afford a deposit this year. Yes, everything's going great. Realised that I've just gone self-employed this year, fully. They ain't gonna let me buy for like a couple. Even if I can prove how much I'm earning and stuff, they're gonna be like, yeah, no, you ain't buying off us, bitch. So I'm renting for the time being. But the benefits are that it's beautiful. The negatives are that you've just got. This is gonna feed really nice, but there's a wood pigeon.
You know what? Right, you gotta talk to it. Okay, you gotta. Oh.
The reason I'm talking about this wood pigeon is because literally before we started the podcast,
it works.
I mentioned it to Hannah, and she's been doing this wood, and it's pretty impressive. This impression, to be fair. So, but believe it or not, Hannah is not an impressionist. Hannah is Hannah does all sorts. To be fair, she's pretty multi-skilled person. So let's have a bit of a catch up then, because obviously you were doing the mini cut. Yes. You were complaining that you haven't cream rice for days. You were complaining about the fact you're in a waterbed. But life is, things have moved on since then. Obviously, you've come out of a mini cut and you actually in prep now. So let's talk a little bit about that period of time between, because I'm guessing there's been lockdowns during that period and shit. So what have you been up to since then? Since I don't remember. Was it November?
It must have been November, yeah. So because I finished my mini cut at the start of December, literally December 1st. And then I carried on pushing up. So I actually got to 66 point something kilo, and I'm now currently 67. So that's quite cool. That'd be quite cool to see what I looked like then,
That's one for Instagram as well.
Yeah, I'll do that next. When I hit 66, I'll do that little comparison. But yeah, since then, obviously started pushing up. If we're talking bodybuilder wise, I started pushing up. Obviously, gyms. I can't even keep up with what happened, what dates. I turned my bedroom into a gym. So I've got a 2-bed flat now that you can see me in, and I turned the second bedroom into a gym. It's still kind of a gym. It's got like a little manual treadmill thing. It's got like a bike. It's got my squat rack still in there, and all the plates and that are still in there. Please don't rob me. And it's got all my supplements. Like, I'm sorry, but if that's not a dreamy second bedroom, then I don't even know what is.
I mean, mine's an office, but
my off like this is my office here. It's actually my fucking lounge because priorities. I want my little gym instead. But anyway, so I actually didn't miss a beat like with that. I didn't miss a training session, except when I was ill, because I actually did get the Rona. I did get the dreaded Rona. But apart from when I was like obviously in bed, I didn't miss a session, and I continued to progress, in all honesty. And weirdly, it made my push sessions really progress. Like, it really taught me that the stability and the technique that I really needed. And then I was able to then take that into the gym. Basically, the dumbbells that I had, they were just so big that I had no choice. I had no choice but to learn stability. And it weirdly just served me so well. So yeah, went back to the gym, started pushing back up. I think I got to around 74.8. I think that's when I started my prep. And I am currently 8 weeks deep. So it's been quite nice. I don't want to say that it's been very consistent, because in all honesty, it hasn't massively. If you look at it over the whole 8 weeks, it looks like it's been like a very steady drop, but there's been quite a few plateaus. There's been actually like a few increases, things like that. So, but that's obviously then when you make those changes. I have just done like a little mini update that I posted on the gram. Well, it's still saying posting, you know what it's like.
I hate that.
Yeah, I actually, I don't care though. I'm like, yeah, don't post them, whatever. You're missing out. Yeah, so basically since the start of prep, I've dropped from 3,800 calories to now 2,300. Cardio every day, 35 minutes. Steps are 12 and 13,000 training days and rest days. I now wear a weighted vest for 5,000 of those because I'm a cool kid. But yeah, there's no magic behind it, you know. It's just little changes when necessary, and we just like chipping away. To be honest, the biggest changes I have seen are in the past couple of days. Like since Friday, I've literally been like, yo, okay, we're doing this, let's go. Yeah, so it's going well. What about you, mate? What about you?
Oh, I think people know all about me. People who listen to this will know all about me. So since I've had a weird one since November. So November, I was basically pushing up. I was mentally at that point thinking that I was going to be prepping next year, so 2022. So just making all of the gains, especially to posterior chain, because that is just lacking in my body. Obviously, then the lockdowns and all that shizzle hit. So I was like, I didn't have a spare bedroom. I was living at home. I was like, what do I do? So as everyone knows, I set up a little gym in a little shipping container in the building site.
Cute.
Strangest thing ever. So it was literally in the middle of a building site, like with just like men everywhere, and it's weird.
Did they try and use your equipment?
No, but if you they called me the gym girl. Like when I went to go like pay the rent and stuff, like, oh yeah, the gym girl, yeah. I again, like you, tried to get quite good at my, stability with my pressing, because I only have free weights. Unfortunately, 2 sessions in, I think I partially dislocated my shoulder, tore something, and it's still messed up to this day, unfortunately. So I didn't quite make the gains that you did. And then February, March time was when I got told that I need to go exercise down. April time was when I basically got told that what's going on is basically the HA. I've had the whole all-in journey shizzle, and it's just been very, very different in my life, and I've moved, so not as exciting.
The thing is though, mate, like what we've spoken about this like before. What's important is there are going to be different points in your life where different things take priority, and that doesn't mean you're any less of an athlete. That just means that right now you need to look after your health, because if you don't, then further down the line you're just going to fuck yourself up. You're not going to enjoy the journey at any point. No. So this may be really difficult right now, but what you are doing will then allow you to really enjoy the journey further on.
Yeah, absolutely. Just threw a pen there. When I actually went
dramatic ending.
Yeah, boom, and that's the end of that chapter. When I actually went in April for the appointment, the woman, oh god, she's the biggest Karen, is this gynecologist I'm assigned to. Like, she's literally like how you'd imagine. She's probably, she's quite chunky, got this like blonde hair, bouffant hair that like flicks out. Such a like cliche.
Biggest Karen.
The biggest. She's actually called Virginia, Yeah, she was like, because when she was talking about the whole bodybuilding thing, she's got this idea that bodybuilding is, you know, steroids, and
Yeah,
she's got that very black and white.
What they all think.
Well, put it this way, she told me to stop having whey protein because it's full of androgens.
I wish.
Tumbleweed.
I wish.
I was like, bitch, why am I so small then? Like,
literally.
But she was like, yeah, you'll never compete in it. They keep telling me to stop taking. They put supplements in inverted commas. They kept suggesting it, and I was like, I'm very, very flattered that you think that I have enough muscle mass to be on the ride. But they were like, you're never going to compete. You're never, you know, you're just going to fuck your health up. So that's kind of what I've had in my head for like 2 or 3 months. And I was okay with that.
Yeah.
So I started to actually detach myself. I started to unfollow people. I unsubscribed to a lot of the YouTubers that I like to watch pre-workout. I literally got rid of like pretty much all of my bodybuilding clothing, sold it on Depop. And then what sort of made me realize that, no, I can't let go of this, was when it was PCA the other week. And I was watching that and I was like, nah.
You still had that fire in you,
because I first thought, I kind of got in my head that I was loving bodybuilding for the wrong reasons. I was like, no, I'm only doing it to sort of like mask sort of issues I have with food and myself. But I was like, no, I actually wasn't. I was just telling myself that to make myself feel better. I actually bloody love it. The sport, everything about it, I am so passionate about. So I know for a fact, I've told myself, and I know I will get on stage eventually. Even if I do it once, I know I will do it. But I just need to make sure that my health's there. And luckily, I've got a fucking amazing coach behind me who will not let me do anything that's detrimenting my health. She won't.
Thing is, as well, like, say if you don't look at all those factors that you are looking at right now, your prep will be 20 times harder.
Oh, yeah.
I've actually, like, I went to the NFM show on the last weekend, and I bumped into like quite a few girls. Weirdly had similar conversations with them. They didn't know that because they were all like separate. And one of the girls is like had to have quite a lot of blood tests because they're like trying to diet and it's just not happening. And another girl has had to completely come off prep because she just wasn't losing weight. I think she was in like her 9th week and she hadn't lost any weight. And it's all because your body is going to fight it. If you're not in the perfect place, then your body is going to fight it. And you are going to just make it 20 times harder for yourself. That's why it is so important to take that time away. And I think that's weirdly how COVID obviously was a complete shit show. Like I would never be, I've heard many people say this, but I would never be someone that would say, oh, it's the best thing that ever happened. Because for some people, for their businesses, etc., it was, right. But no, I will never stand by that. However, with regards to bodybuilding and people taking that time away from the stage and now prioritizing their health, I think it's allowed people to grow. And I was actually speaking to Dan Welburn the other day, right, and we were saying how fucking exciting is this year going to be. Like everyone is so ready. They are literally foaming at the mouth, ready to get on stage because they've had to take that time away. And that just means that this year, the caliber of athletes is
it's going to be immense. I'm really September to November is going to be mental, absolutely mental.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to watch it.
Even like watching that show on the weekend, like I wouldn't compete necessarily with NFM. Because I tried it and they didn't like my style, as in I didn't fit the federation. That just happens, right? But it doesn't mean that I can't enjoy a show. And just watching them on stage, I was sitting there next to people like, I want to be on, let me get on that stage. Give me 2 weeks. I'll get there.
Give it 2 weeks, get a climb, I'll be on there.
P.S. We're natty. But whereas then I was sitting next to another girl and she was basically like, yeah, I just don't have that feeling. I was like, that's good though. Like you've got to realize that you being able to register that feeling of like, yeah, I'm not excited. I'm not ready for that. Good. You don't have to be. No. That just means you're at a different point of your life. Absolutely. I think too many people, I am going on a bit of a tangent here. Sorry.
No, it's fine. We like tangents.
Too many people lately are like forcing themselves to like that.
Yeah.
It's ruining it. It's boring to see.
Yeah.
you're ruining it, because I'm watching you and I'm thinking, well, are you making me not want to enjoy it? And I fucking am. So I just
well, this is how I knew that I was enjoying when I was watching that show, and I had that feeling of like, oh my god, like, every time I watch it, that's when I knew. I was like, nah, this is going to be me in a few years' time, whether it's next year, year after, I don't know how long it's going to take. But you actually had a really good point quite a bit ago about that it's going to be 10 times harder. I do think that I wouldn't say what I had to do last year for the photo shoot was drastic, but I did have to push quite hard to get, and I wasn't in stage condition. But when I tell people what like calories I was on my cardio, they're like, holy fuck, like what? I was like, yeah, no, that's what I had to do because my body wasn't very responsive.
That's the thing.
I think it's probably down to this.
Yeah, it's that's the thing as well. Like, and I do put out my calories. I like tell people that, and I do take my cardio, etc. But there's so many people that will say like, oh, you're lucky because of this and that, and it's like, no, because at the end of the day, I've had a 17-month off season when I have not missed a day. Like I've not missed a meal, I've not missed a step or a cardio session. Like, so it's 17 months of that work beforehand that then puts you in a perfect place to start a prep. You don't just prep and then you're just lucky. You know, it doesn't happen like that. You do have to take that time and to get your health in the right. Like I made sure that I had my period cycle. I can't just say cycle anymore because everyone thinks you're actually on about like trend
drugs.
So I had to actually ensure that my period cycle was in a natural rhythm, and like I had it for months and months and months. It wasn't just, oh, I've had it for a month, right, let's hop on another diet, you know. I had to make sure that everything was in check.
Absolutely.
And I do think that is another reason why this prep is going well, because I have enabled my body to completely recover.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good point, actually, to be fair. And I think that is probably why it is really, really wise that I spent quite a long time getting to that point, because I didn't actually spend that long really building up properly before I started to, like, initially was prepping last year. I only started with Vicky in November, and then we started prepping in January. And then we came out of the diet prep in August. And we've not really had that long.
Thing is though, like that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, when I first got, I'm just going to get a note up on my phone because I wrote down my prep calories, what I was on in 2019. Yeah, got it. When I first started that prep, I'd only really been looking at my diet in terms of actual numbers. I'd always ate well, I just ate a fucking lot. I actually loved vegetables like my whole life, but my family are just very big eaters, and we also like really like cake. Like we're larger, that's just how it is, but we're happy, so it's fine. But when I first started that prep, I'd only really been looking at my calories and actually looking at macros, etc., for probably 4 months or something. Right. So my prep calories on my low days, right, were 1,254, which was 33 grams of fat, 69 carb, 186 protein. Whereas my prep this year started at 2,955 with 60 gram of fat, 400 carb. Nice. That's to start prep. You know what I mean? Like, like you do have to go through the shit. Like I went through the shit. I went through that suffering of like eating grass. Yeah. And then you take the time away and then you don't miss a beat, and then you can grow. And then the next time it's so much easier.
I agree. Should we answer some of the questions from the people?
The people. Get the peoples.
I mean, Hannah asked herself a question about like why she's so sexy.
I forgot about that. Oh my god.
We're not gonna. The answer is why Hannah is so sexy. Or whatever you said, it's just Hannah is stunning. She's amazing. She's gorgeous. But let's go. So, future plans with bodybuilding and life was the first one.
Oh, okay. Are we both answering these?
Oh, why not?
I think we should. Yeah.
You go first. I'll go bodybuilding, life.
Okay, so obviously
pro card, IFBB. All the drugs.
Shut up, never. I could never do IMDb. I'm genetically not. Nah, wouldn't happen. So obviously this year, I'm going into UKDFBA as my main focus. Cool. I'm still trying to convince Cuba to let me do another federation, but we'll see, because basically there's the regionals, the finals, and then there's the worlds, which is in Romania. And you know me, like I am going with the mindset of I'm going to worlds, because what's the point in just saying, oh yeah, I'll just do regionals? Like I don't want to. I want to go all the way. So however, that may not happen, and I'm okay about that if it doesn't happen, because this is going to be a new category, you know. I'm going into women's physique instead of so it's just basically a more conditioned figure, because of the collaboration of UKDFBA with, I think it's INFBA, the European side of things. They've got rid of the category that I wanted to do, which was called Fit Body. So that was like my dream category. I was like, oh my God, it's made for me. I'm so ready.
You'd have been good for that.
Yeah, and they got rid of it. So I'm going into women's physique, which will basically be the exact same. It just sounds more badass, you know.
Yeah,
so
quite
I'm going in with that this year. And then when I say there's potential other ones I'm looking at, like if PCA finals wasn't on the same day as UKDFBA finals, I would love to do a PCA show, because PCA for me, it just means so much to me. I had so much fun in 2019, and I love the shows. Like I haven't been to one that's better run, but like as good to even watch as to be in. So there's also FitX, which is like new on the scene, and they've got so many opportunities. I think that's going to be incredible to be a part of. But again, the dates just don't really line up well. So we've got to prioritize the look. Like at the end of the day, I don't want to be coming in shit for UKDFBA. So I'm not going to be like, right, well, I want to do this show as well, and then make myself look shit for UKDFBA. So it's just one of those things, really. And then we've already got plans for off-season. But what's good, it's good though, because basically I'm coming down, and as I'm coming down, it's like evident that I've just got so much more to do. I'm really, really happy, don't get me wrong, with what we've done so far, but there is just so much more to come. So we've already kind of planned exactly what we're going to do in the off season, and I am thinking that 2022 will be the year of going in for my pro card, basically.
Oh, the natural fed stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, I mean, no, obviously, the UKDFBA Natty Pro would be pretty incredible. That's what I'd be going in for in 2022. But I would like to go back to PCA to see how I would stand up against them. At the end of the day, in 2019, when I looked like a green bean, I still placed sixth in the finals. So in my head, I'm there like,
what could be done? Yeah,
maybe top three. It does depend who turns up on the day. I'll probably break Georgie's legs so that she can't go.
Yeah, good job. Good idea.
So that she's not there. But no. In terms of like long-term bodybuilding, though, I actually don't know. I think I've spoken about this to some people before. Like, in all honesty, I want to take it not even year by year, but more season by season. So this season is going to be a very much let's see what happens, because it's the first time I've had a proper off season. So it's the first time we're actually going to be going in and I'm going to actually present a physique I'm going to be very, very proud of. Whereas the first season was very much what the fuck am I doing? Like, I don't know.
I mean, you winged it pretty well.
Yeah.
You didn't do too bad with that. I mean, mine's just to get on this fucking stage, to be fair.
Yeah, but that's great goal.
Yeah. And you know what the good thing is? Like, the good thing is, in some respects, that of this process is that it's giving me time to, I wouldn't say I'm in an optimal growing position because I'm not training that frequently. I'm only on 3 days a week, and it's a push, a pull, and legs, so things aren't getting hit that much.
Yeah.
But what has been quite good is this injury. And because of this injury, what that happened, it meant that pretty much throughout the lockdown, the first sort of few months when gyms opened, it's all I could train was pull and legs. I couldn't do any pressing. Now, that has meant that my shoulders have gone to absolute shit. Like, I seriously need to do some lateral raises on these bad boys. But the things that I needed to bring up, which was my back, because I had no back width, I just had traps and then nothing else, and hamstrings and glutes.
Everyone, like, literally, no offense, but you can really tell when someone maybe hasn't had a coach for long, because like their pull sessions will just be pure trap. Every single row movement would have been all trap. So then they've literally got traps coming out their earlobes. Like,
oh yeah, that was me. I literally have only really this year, I'd say, fully understood and know how to train my back effectively now. Like,
mate, I would even say the past 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, since gyms have reopened.
Yeah.
I'd say that's when I've really got to grips with connecting a lot more. Obviously, I was learning the past year, but I think it's only really clicked. Like, I used to get feedback from Cuba every single session, like, no, blah, 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 no, blah, 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 blah. Whereas now it's like sometimes, very, very rarely.
I literally feel like that. That's literally like me, like, no. I was trying to nail. I'd never done a stiff leg deadlift before.
Mate, they're hard.
You put it in. I literally sent the video every time. She's like, no. And then
the thing is, don't you want that?
Yeah, God,
I 100% want
the next questions actually, but we'll come on to that, which is about the coach. So
okay,
we'll leave that. But yeah, mine's just to get on stage. All being well, as long as things stay good in my body, I won't have to go on to, because there is the potentiation if I don't really get a regular period back based upon how long it's been, my past history, there's a chance that I will have to go on to some sort of hormone replacement. If I have to go on to that, I'm technically no longer natty, which basically means I'm just going to go all in anyway. I'm just going to think, fuck it.
Basically,
just get massive.
I'm going to be massive.
Yeah, but that will then mean I can't compete naturally, which is a goal of mine, because I want to do a natural federation and compete against
I think
natties.
In all honesty, obviously you are a completely different case. So, but I do think that so many people are just going in nowadays without actually seeing what they can do naturally. And it's such a shame. Like, I actually wouldn't say that I would never judge someone for doing so. Like, I honestly couldn't give a fuck. Like, if you want to do it, that's absolutely fine. But I just like look at it like, it's such a shame though. Like, you don't know what you could do.
There's some amazing natties out there, aren't there? That's absolutely sensational.
I mean, look at Loz at the minute. I'm literally like, how have you like grown like 3 times the size?
Exactly. So many people have done phenomenal, haven't they? And it's just like, just stop. But anyway, I want to compete in figure. Tone figure, that is the class that has always just, one, I think my physique fits it, and 2, I just watch it and think, oh, Queens, love it.
Honestly, I watch it and I'm like, this is beauty, this is grace.
Well, that's what clicked to me. I watched Bikini, I was like, watched her, I was like, I need to do that. But I just naturally fall into it. I haven't got the biggest back, I haven't necessarily got massive legs. What I have genetically got is a really small waist. So it just makes my lats and quads look decent. So if I can make them a little bit more decent to her, I'll be pretty decent at it.
Mate, behave. You need to stop with this self-doubt.
No, it's not self-doubt, it's being honest, right? It's being honest. I do not have massive lats. They need to be bigger. My quads are okay, but they can be bigger.
Send me some check-in photos later.
Okay.
Oh, not like nudes.
I don't have any check-in photos. I haven't taken progress pictures since like...
Oh, okay. That's fair.
Because of I was like, I don't want to take progress pictures.
Yeah. No, you got to do what you got to do. Like I said, it's different parts of this process, isn't it? Yeah. That's okay. No stress.
Okay. Okay, so what about your future plans with life then?
Oh God, yeah.
Quite deep, though, isn't it?
Well,
Well,
again, so someone at work today asked me so I have actually I think I've lost my period like this like now. So I'm like basically 5 days late. So, but this is the body weight that I do lose my cycle. So it's expected, right? And a girl asked me, she was like, are you not worried about it, for the future? I was like, there is not a single man in my life right now. And
I was going to say, there's no chance you're pregnant then, no?
I'm not, no, no, mate. I've actually just bought a new fucking dildo. It's great. It's fabulous. So my mum went, this, it's fine. So it's fine.
My mum won't either, it's all good.
No, but basically, like, when I say there is no one in my DMs, like, I would happily not have a passcode on my phone. It's that dry. Actually, no, because pictures, nudes, maybe not. No, because there's no one in my life with regards to that, I'm not thinking about children, etc. However, I would absolutely love a family. Like I am at this point in my life that I would love to find someone to make those memories with, and to start having a life with someone. But at the same time, I'm not going to settle for any less than what I want. So with regards to like life goals, as sad as it sounds, genuinely just be happy. I think I've spent so much of my life either trying to make other people happy or trying to just impress other people, or like be someone else that other people would like to see or like me to be. And I'm finally at a place right now, and this is why I think I'm finding it so hard to actually open up and date and things like that, because I don't actually want to let anyone in. I don't want anyone to come disrupt my peace, because it's taken me so long to get to where I am now. And I've been with people previously that have really repressed me. Like my last boyfriend that I was with, I'd say like a joke, we joke all the time, right? And obviously I actually cover a lot of fucking pain with humor. Like it's just how I roll. And I would say a joke and he'd look at me and he'd be like, you're embarrassing. Like if I spoke to someone in the gym, obviously I'm a chatty person. If it was a guy, he would literally be like, we'd get home and he'd be like, how disrespectful, like you're speaking to another guy. Like, what? And because of that, I just felt like everything I was doing was wrong, and it like tore me down, that I just felt like who I was wrong. So it took me so long to get to where I am now, to be happy with who I am. Everyone's got issues, everyone's got flaws. I'm still working on so much, but then to let someone else in to then potentially do that again, like that's fucking scary. So I don't even have life goals now, which is quite sad, of like kids and a family and things like that, because if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And because I know that I won't. Like I've seen so many people, they're so unhappy because they feel like they need to be with someone, and they just bounce from person to person. Like my one friend in the past 6 months, I think, has had like 6 boyfriends. Wow. I'm like, well, how many arguments have you had in that time? How much money have you wasted that you could have used on fucking protein?
Priorities.
But
that's
yeah,
so true, though.
Yeah, but then obviously my other side of life is my career. So right now I actually have had a promotion since we last spoke.
Amazing.
So I'm now cancer research specialist. So it was actually kind of a double whammy promotion. So because I was a technician previously, the next step up was scientist, and then the next step up was specialist. But I just went balls deep, I was like, yo, I'm just going to hop right into the big boys. And yeah, I've been doing that for a couple of months now. It's big. Like every single day I come home from work and I'm like, wow, that was a lot. But it's really exciting. Like, it's so interesting. It's just, I just feel like I'm constantly learning, which I do love, but it's just hard, isn't it? So with regards to that, I would obviously love to continue progressing within the area, not necessarily like within that company specifically. But yeah, just keep doing what I'm doing. Like, I honestly, right now, if I did absolutely everything that I'm doing now in 10 years, but bigger, more, better, more knowledge, more memories, more everything, then I would be absolutely gassed. I'd be gassed.
Nice. I like that. Mine. Well, I guess I didn't really know what I wanted in my future, and it sounds really, really deep, earlier this year. But when I got the news of sort of being told at one point, potentially that you're sort of, we don't know if your periods are going to come back. We don't know if you are going to be able to have kids, because that was at one point. They did say that to me. At one point, they thought potentially it was early onset menopause. They thought potentially just the access was switched off and it would never come back. They did say to me, there is the possibility here that you may not be able to have kids. The first time I ever got told that, I was actually with someone at the time. I was seeing someone. And I just remember literally crying into him, like, we can't have a family. I know this was early days, but I was like, if I settle down with you, and which we didn't, and it ended, he gave me Rona, but let's just not talk about it.
Is it better than chlamydia?
I don't know. It's not
I don't know, to be fair.
He was lovely. It just didn't work out. Nothing against him, but it actually then hit me that, you know what, there is that possibility, because I always said I don't want kids, I don't like kids, but maybe I do. And I just don't want that taken away from me, that chance to, I'm not a massive kid person, but I do love the idea of being in a happy family and going to Disneyland and having your picture with your kids by the Disney castle. That is absolutely brilliant. And again, like you, I've had ups and downs in my past, and I would say that I wouldn't say I am getting to a point in my life where I am very, very happy. I'm making something of myself that I never thought I would. I didn't ever think I'd have my own business and have a decently successful business. I never thought that I would be anything, because I was always, this is getting really deep and emotional now, but I was always just the other sibling. My two brothers are so goddamn talented. Like, Ed was on the West End when he was like 6. Will was in a commercial when he was like 3. My little sister's just gone from a trial for Manchester United. They're all talented kids. I never had a talent. I was just there.
You know why? Because you've got like 7. That's why.
But I always never felt that I was anything.
I see where you could definitely get that. At the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of spotlight on them. But then that doesn't mean that you weren't in a spotlight. It just means that you were basically like growing still. You were still behind the scenes. And then, like you said, like, look at you now. You're in a fucking windmill.
I'm in a windmill. And it's, yes, things are all starting to come together in my life from that perspective, and I'm actually starting to believe in myself and feel genuine sort of happiness and content in myself. We all have our ups and downs, but things are definitely progressing. So I want to continue that. I want to continue, because I've recently discovered spirituality. I don't want to say got into it like it's a hobby, but I've become aware of it, and I feel like that's a new element of my life. It changed,
honestly, Lucy, this is why we get on so well, because it changed my life.
Yes,
like it really did. Like, it just made me have such a different perspective on everything. And like, there'll be so many people that I'll speak to, and I can almost feel like their energy, and I'll leave that conversation so drained. And I'm just like, I will still continue with them being in my life, etc. But I will also understand that they are not good for me. So you do have to stay away from those kind of people. And spirituality is it's a fucking gift, man.
It was one of those things that just happened. Like, one of my clients, I'm actually going to try and get on the podcast, does it. She does tarot reading. I thought, I'll go start a business. I didn't think anything of it. Changed my life. So I want to get more into that. I want to understand myself more. And I just want to continue to grow my business. I'm not money orientated by any means. But I want to be able to live a happy life. I've got goals, and I think it will be pretty cool to be able to there are certain, I'm not a materialistic person, but there are certain things that I do want, right? There are certain car I want. There are certain places in the world I want to see, and I want to be able to, again, kind of just prove to people that I can, and just like, yeah, I did that. I own that car, and you know why? Because I've worked my backside off to get here, because I'm a boss ass bitch.
It's money, in my opinion, it's money freedom.
Yes.
It's not about like having a big paycheck, mate. If I'm not going to say it on here, but if I told you my salary from where I'm working, I think we get paid 40p more than the cleaners that work in the same place.
That's shocking.
But I don't do it for the money. I do it for the love of it. I do it because I find it so fucking interesting.
Yeah.
And again, I think that is why it's so important for my own happiness. Like, there's so many people that are constantly chasing the money and they're not happy.
No.
They're really not. Like, well done. You're going and living in Dubai or whatever. Like, that's sound for you, but are you actually happy? Because you don't fucking look it, mate.
No, absolutely not. It's like I said, it's freedom. Like, I've already experienced it more. Like, I actually had a bit of reflection in there. I was in Sainsbury's literally yesterday, actually. And I remember not so long ago having to literally, I was scraping like the 20p's at the bottom of my bag to be able to like afford like a Volvic bottle of water or like a Diet Coke from the shop. And I remember those memories not so long ago. Yeah. And now I'm in a position where I don't even think about that. Like today, I emotionally bought myself, I know I sound like I'm bragging and showing off, but I had a bit of a shit day. I bought myself a smartwatch, an Apple Watch, because I fucking can. And you know why? Because I've worked my backside off for it. So I'm not ashamed to say that. And I think there is a bit of shame. People are scared to say that they've got money and that, you know, but you know what? If you've worked your backside off to get there, which I have and continue to do, I deserve to be here. And you know what? I'm happy that I'm in this position now where I can live a life with a bit more freedom. But I just want a little bit more because, you know, there's so many places I want to see.
Yeah. When I bought my place, the amount of people that were like, oh, like, have you run into some money then? I was like, I've worked since I was 14.
Yeah, same.
Like, yeah, like it's that going through that like suffering for a certain amount of time.
Absolutely.
And scraping the barrel for this and that. And now you're in a position that I'm actually still quite conscious of money.
Oh no, I do have to be conscious. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But then I've also, over the past probably 2 years, I've also allowed myself to buy X, allow myself to get this because I want it and I do deserve it. Whereas throughout, no lie, up until about 4 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, I wouldn't buy myself anything. And not like I would go out for meals with friends and I probably wouldn't even eat, and that wasn't anything to do with my relationship with food. That was because I couldn't pay for things because I at the time was like, I can't, you know. I had a one of my like more serious boyfriends again a couple of years ago. His parents paid for his rent at uni, they paid for his uni fees, they gave him money every single month for food, and yeah, he'd still like moan to me about like XYZ. I had, whilst I was at uni, full-time degree, I had 2 jobs. I would like be working all weekend. I never had any money off my mom or my dad, and I literally just had the loan, and obviously now I'm repaying back that loan. And it's just one of them, isn't it? Like, you really do get given a completely different set of cards to some people, but it's really about how you make those cards play, like, and it'll make you who you are now.
I agree. Like, I started working from a young age. I had shit jobs like fast food, fish and chips. I worked at the drama school I was at for like £1 an hour. But those things taught me so much. They taught me, you know, you don't just get shit handed to you. You've got to work for it. And so I don't. Because one of the questions actually was one thing you change about something in the past. And
I love that.
Yeah, I do. We'll come on to that in a second. But I wouldn't change any of that experience, even though at the times there were slugs and it was shit, but it built me to be a person I am now. It built me to have work ethic and drive, and to think, you know what, I'm going to work my backside off because things don't just get handed to me. And you know what, when you do then be able to, you know, I could just go and buy that today, which in fairness, right, I don't want people to think that I'm just a big spender and earning loads of money.
Wait, no one's going to say that.
People might though, when I'm like, oh, I've just bought an Apple.
Why do you care? No,
but I don't want people to think that I'm like this next level massive baller, because I'm not. But in fairness, I have not really spent any money on myself in that last 3 months.
But mate, like that. Why do you care what, like this is actually what I was going to say about the whole changing thing, right? If you could change anything, I wish that I stopped giving a fuck about 10 years ago, mate, because I was so miserable. Like I did touch on it earlier, like I was constantly trying to be someone else because I wanted to like fit in, etc. When I stopped giving a fuck, I have completely given myself freedom to just be authentic, like completely me. Like it's that freedom that's allowed me to be happy.
Yeah.
And you need, definitely just wish that I'd done that so much sooner, because I know people don't like me. I know that people say things about me. Fuck, I've actually heard people say things about me. I don't give a fuck. I really don't, because I know that I'm good. I know that I have good intentions. And I know that the people that I do have in my life, that I will always try my hardest. I do still get it wrong, but I'll still try. So if other people may have bad experiences with you or say bad things about you, like, it doesn't fucking matter as long as you know that you're good. And again, I think that's where the spirituality part comes in with me, because I think as long as, again, people always like have something to say about this side of things. So I am actually a Christian. I'm not like devout. Like I don't necessarily think there's a man in the sky, etc. But I believe in something bigger. And for me, that's something that has pushed me to want to be a better person, because I almost like look up to that, as I want them to also think good of me. So
no, I like that. When I've said that as well, it's not a case where I care what people think, but I don't want people to think that I'm like one of those dicks that's so stuck up their own ass, and like, because that's not who I am at all. I'm not money orientated. I'm not things orientated. But the reason that I bought it, by the way, guys, I've had a bad day, and I actually gave my other fitness tracker to my sister, so it was actually out of a good deed. So I'm actually a really amazing person. But the one thing that I would change about the past, now there is only really one thing, and this is going to get really emotional, so I'm going to really try and hold it in and try and cry, that I would change about the past if I could, is that my nana didn't pass away. And the reason being is that that was not her time. I still to this day believe that people have their time, but it wasn't hers, because I cannot explain what she was like. I need a fucking mother. She was one of the most amazing people in the world. She was so selfless. She gave us so many memories. She just was not your basic Nana. She was someone so goddamn special. She is the reason behind this tattoo. She is the reason that I actually get up when I'm having my days and think, you know what, Lucy, you need to sort your shit out, because she basically saved your life. When I was in the pits of an eating disorder and my family just struggled to even have me in the house because of just what I was doing to the family dynamics, they just said, look, Lucy, you can't stay here. You know, you're just screwing shit up. So I went to live with my nana for a good few months, and I fully believe and know that she saved my life. She gave me this life, the opportunity to have this life. She gave my family so many amazing and the life lessons. It's the life lessons, like things like she'd say things like, "Has anyone died?" I'm like, no, does it matter? If this it's the problem, it's not the problem, it's what you do about it. And to always just, you know, aspire to be more. And that for me, I just think there was just unfinished business there. And I'm just very, very sad that she never got to see me recover. I'm sad that she never got to see me go to uni, even though it was a waste of my time. But I did it. I'm sad that she never got to see this, because she'd have been over the moon.
See, I think that's where we not necessarily disagree, but obviously my nan passed away like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I still feel her here. Yeah. She's here with me now.
Yeah.
I still talk to her every day. I would say that she can see you with my belief, like this, that whether people go with saying that, you know, that's just to make yourself feel better, again, don't give a fuck, mate. Yeah, I think that she can see you, mate, and I think she's probably going to be absolutely beaming with pride. And I think that thinking that she has to be physically there, it's not the case. as long as you are still keeping them present in your life every single day, like, and still thinking about them, then they're going to be there.
Yeah, no, I do think that, because when, to an extent anyway, when she passed, we symbolized her as a robin, and we've, as a family, had so many spiritual encounters with robins in times of sadness, in times of, when I went on my, did I tell you about my mad crazy walk I did the other week? I got like 4 a.m. I went on like a national park walk on my own. It was just really stupid, but also amazing. And right at the end of the walk, as I was about to go back to my car, and I just felt like this sense of just amazement. It was just a single robin, and it was just so powerful. And again, that's the reason why, part of why I've got this, because I want it to symbolize her. I want her to be a part of my every day. But do you know what is sad? The fact that nobody has been able to replicate her mince recipe. Oh my God, it was the nicest thing. Her spaghetti bolognese was just, that is the crappy part. But yeah, I do think she is sort of still here. But yeah, this is what it's about. You know, we need to talk about this stuff. People don't talk about this stuff, but
I won't lie, it's still too early for me. I'm not there.
No, I understand that. Well, let's move on then. Let's move on. I want to just cover that little bit of the topic about that question about the good coach, because I think you've been with Cuba for quite a good period of time now. What are the best traits of Cuba someone wanted to know that work for you, because obviously this is about you and your journey?
So yeah, I've been with him, I think 15 months now. Started with him last March.
You did.
So the reason why I chose him to begin with was because I always need someone that's going to not shout at me, but like tell me to stop being a dick. Yeah. I don't do well, anyone in my life, like I'm not even just on about a coach, like I don't do well with pussyfooting. Like I don't understand it. Like when people are like, oh, I didn't want to say because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. No, you tell me. Well, one of my best friends, well, Caitlin, big Caitlin, right? Me and Caitlin, I wouldn't say we barely compliment each other, but our conversations are usually like, we'll send each other our check-ins, like our form videos, etc. We will literally be like, this needs to be better. You can do this better. Da, 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 da. But it's out of a place of pure love. Like that is what I think is needed. Like, because we both want to see each other do the best that we can do. So with anyone in my life that I need that. And obviously Cuba is definitely someone that is not afraid to like tell you how it is. He say if, you know, but also at the same time, which I didn't realize when I did join him, he is actually a bit of a softie. Like when I have gone through hard times, like he does make sure that he's there. And he won't just be like, yeah, just get on with it. Or if I ask any questions with like any food changes or this or that, like even in off season, I was having like X amount of granola at the end of the day, and I was like, can I swap it for like Cocoa Pops so I can just have like loads of Cocoa Pops? Because obviously granola, you don't get much for the calories. Yeah. And he was like, well, no, the thing is you need that because the amount of calories you're actually on, you don't want the voluminous foods because you're then going to have troubles with the digestion. Like he actually takes the time to educate people instead of just being like, no, just do this because I said this. And you can tell that from obviously the content and the education that he puts out for free, let alone to all his clients. And he has created like such a community. So we have like weekly, I mean, I don't make them very often because I usually have posing clients, but like we do like weekly Zoom calls, and like we've got like a group chat, and you know, we've had like a meetup day as well. Like when I did, again, those weren't things that made me choose him to begin with. It was definitely to do with his attitude towards training and the passion that he has for his own journey as well. Because I think there's some great coaches out there, right? But like they're not necessarily walking the walk, which is absolutely fine. But for me personally, I would want someone that, yes, he's a great coach, but he's also walking the walk. Like,
Yeah.
I look at him and obviously Meg's journey, and that inspires and motivates me. If I had a coach that, yes, he was very, very knowledgeable, but not necessarily on his own journey, I'd kind of be like, well, they'd always be like, do you know what you're doing?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of reasons, but I think it was very important, the fact that you said like why I choose him, because doesn't mean that it works for everyone.
No.
Like at all. That kind of approach, obviously he pushes girls up body weight as well, which for me is exactly what I want. I would hate to stay like 5 kilo above stage weight. That's not something that I personally like, but some girls do, and that's absolutely fine. Like, you've got to do what you want to do, right? But so you have to find the coach that will also like go with that as well.
I 100% agree. Like the whole thing of finding someone that works for you. Like, I'll give you an actual example of this. Like, I got my check-in feedback back today, and actually played one of the clips to one of my friends, and she was like, "Oh my god, she talks to you like that." Like, if I had a coach like that, like, I'd be really upset. And I was like, "But I need that." Like, I wasn't hitting my macros, and I got told basically just sort of shit out, Lucy. I was like, exactly. I need that. If I just get told, "Oh, it's okay, try hard next week," won't do it. If I get told, you need to look in the mirror, tell yourself to sort yourself out. This is not acceptable. You are better than this. I'm going to think, okay, right,
you're right.
100%. And it's really, really funny, like, well, not funny, but the things you were saying in terms of how Kuba is with you and what you want out of him is so similar to the same with me and Vic. Like, she's not afraid to say, sort this out, sort that out. But when push comes to shove and I'm having difficulties like I've had today, like I've had in the past, she's been on the phone to me. She's made time to message me. She's actually made sure that I'm okay. But times like also today when I've not been the best in terms of adherence for personal reasons, she said, it's not an excuse when it is not an excuse. And told me that I need to be better. And she doesn't tell me things are good when they're good. When my form isn't great, she'll tell me, but she's doing it again, kind of like this, like Caitlin, the face of love, because she wants me to be the best that I can be. And I need that. I need someone who's gonna tell me when stuff's not right, stuff ain't good, and not just beat around the bush, just go, yeah, that needs sorting, because then I think for me, I respond better to that. I need that blunt, that needs sorting right now for me to actually think, shit, I need to sort it and crack on and make that positive change for myself.
Oh, sure.
Right, it's getting late. Me and Hannah are both getting tired because I've had a long day. Hannah's on prep, so she needs a bed.
I'm not even prepping, mate. I'm fine. I'm just tired from work. Like I said, I'm just But yeah, lovely to chat. Lovely to catch up. Some great topics touched on there.
We didn't even need to cover. We're like, oh well, we had 4 questions. We only actually really answered 2 or 3 of them, so we can just ramble, can't we?
Yes,
we can indeed. Well, it's been great, and potentially maybe closer to the show if you're not dieting. It'd be quite good to get you back on and just sort of see where you're at, because people seem to vibe it.
I can always chat, mate. I can always chat. So
I know you can. Right, we'll wrap this one up here, guys. Thank you for listening, and I'll leave Hannah's tag and stuff in the description. If you don't follow, which you should, go give the gal a follow. Right. Thanks, guys. See you on the next one.
Bye.